Okay, here's a song about Huria Matenga, so we're going right back to 1863 from a newspaper clipping I found. On a stormy September night, 1863, a ship is smashed upon the rocks, maiden brigantine. The Delaware is breaking up, hear that timber roar. One brave sailor volunteers, get a line to shore. From a hut high on the cliff, a woman hears the cry. She sees a sailor swept away, and more about to die. Down to the beach she runs, hear those sailors call. Dives into stormy seas to try and save them all. Sing about Grace Darling and others brave and fair, but no one can compare to Huria Matenga and her family, saviors of the Delaware. From the ship they throw a line, she drags back to the shore. As they clamber down that line, weary sailors fall. One by one she rescues them, takes them through the waves. Yes, one by one she rescues them, saves them from their graves. Sing about Grace Darling and others brave and fair, but no one can compare. Huria Matenga and her family, saviors of the Delaware. The height of the New Zealand land wars, people of Nelson gathered to thank this brave heroine Huria, husband Hemi and cousin Moabita. 50 guineas and a golden watch from Governor George Grey. Fame spread around this land, still recalled today. Sing about Grace Darling and others brave and fair, but no one can compare. Huria Matenga and her family, saviors of the Delaware.
Oh, cool. So,
Thank you.
do you want to say a bit more about that song?
Oh, well, actually the line about Grace Darling. Grace Darling was a sort of a heroine in England. She was a lighthouse keeper's daughter that saved a whole lot of sailors just before this time, I think. And when Huria got her gold watch from Governor George Grey, there was a speech that he did comparing her to
I see.
Grace Darling, and how she was New Zealand's heroine, and it was and the newspaper clipping that I found from Papers Past, which is a great thing to look into.
Yeah, it's really great listening to your songs because you learn so much, and it's like listening to a story, someone telling you a story.
Yeah, well, I went to school here in Tokomaru Bay Primary and Turangi Tongariro High School, and you never learnt about people like this. It was only General Custer or Ed Kelly, but never New Zealand. Well, not very often anyway. So I thought those stories needed to be told.
And do you want to like sort of take us through your songwriting process, how you sort of write your songs?
Yeah, well, I kind of when I sold the 121, I went to Dunedin for a year, and you have a lot of time to yourself down there. It was too cold to go out sometimes. So I'd sort of had a little cassette player, and I'd just sort of play around and put down little snippets of tunes and little riffs, and then at the same time, I'd seen my wife dancing in a contemporary dance, dancing in a dance about the first woman magician in New Zealand, you see, and I thought, that'd be quite nice to write a song about her. So I sort of started, and I had 2 different tunes, and so I started singing along with one of the sort of the riffs, and it kind of was okay, but didn't kind of quite work. So I thought, that completely changed the flavour. Found a different sort of little riff that I had, and started thinking, that sounds more like Darling Jennie. So I kind of put them together, and then the other tune that I discarded later became a song about Captain Lorraine, the balloonist. So it kind of was a bit more up. He was a balloonist man, and so that's what I would do, is sort of have little snippets of tunes, little ideas of a chorus or a song, and then try and see which ones go together. That's my way.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, all going well. Here is a song about Darling Jennie, which was kind of the first one that I wrote in this series of old New Zealand songs, and she was a magician from Thames Coromandel, and I'll let the song tell the story. You may have heard her name in the entertainment game. She's a toast to Coromandel, is our lovely Darling Jennie. She's a famous tightrope dancer, and she swings on the trapeze. Men come to see her, Jennie loves to please. Tell me, darling Jennie, Jennie darling, how long have you been gone? Magnified to Wellington and down to Oamaru. Jennie, are you ever coming home? With her bold exotic dancing to the music of the band, then as a magician with your dazzling sleight of hand. Southland shows were winners, and the truth it truly shone. People they cried out for more, but the show kept moving on. They headed north on the Cobb&Co coach, came to the Matenga River. The bridge was under repair and the river was running high. The pilot, he was nowhere to be found. The ferryman, he'd been drinking. He showed them a safe place to cross. While the troop clambered across the bridge, Jennie and the driver stayed on board. Costumes and the money. When the horses hit deep water, the coach overturned. Jennie hit her head and was swept downstream. From the bridge they managed to grab her hair, but the current was too strong. They lost their grip. Jennie was swept away and drowned. She was 20 years old. darling, how long have you been gone? Like a fly to Wellington and down to Wangaroo. Jennie, are you ever coming home? She was a famous tightrope dancer, now she'll never dance again. People, they all shed a tear for our great New Jersey end. Yes, the people, they all shed a tear for the great New Jersey end.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, my favourite song. Yeah, out of your songs, yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's sort of, I discovered these dead gad half capos and I thought, well, that gives it a different feel and a different sound, and so I've been playing around with them, and it's quite difficult to talk and play guitar. That was the hardest bit. Going over and over it again until I could actually talk and play guitar at the same time. It's easy to sing and play guitar, but to actually tell a story, so you have to kind of,
So how do you know when you're going to write a song about someone or for someone? Like, is it like you're reading through an article, or like what makes you realise, oh, I'm going to write a song about that?
Oh, well, this was the one that I talked about where my wife was dancing in a beautiful dance piece, loosely based on the life of darling Jennie, and it was in the St James Theatre, and we all sat on the stage and the dance went on in front of us, and then the curtain was behind that, and then the audience was only about like 40, 50 people on the back of the stage, and then at the end of the show the curtain got pulled and there's this sort of empty, beautiful old St James Theatre with its blue sort of vinyl or leather seats or whatever there is. It's quite beautiful. And that was before we went to Dunedin, and I thought, it sounds like an interesting character, so I went up to the Hawkton Rare Books part of the library and found a tiny little book in there about her life, and you couldn't take it out, so I had to sort of Xerox or copy it, and then I sort of started going through and that was sort of, I hadn't quite finished it when I came back from Dunedin, and I went and visited Arthur Basting, who's a good lyric man, helps sort of the Joe Bomb, Rick Bryant and the Windy City Strugglers. He co-wrote songs with him, and he just helped sort of, I'd say, well, this is what I got, and he'd say, oh, well, we need to add something here, and give me a word that rhymes with this, and then so it was a good, because it was one of the first songs that I'd written. He was a good man to sort of you need to sort of say, you've got to do this, got to do that, and then the fact that I'd be going back to him the next week meant that I couldn't just put it aside. I had to actually work on it, and otherwise I'd go back and I'd have been lazy. So that was quite good. And then once I got that first song, and I thought, oh, that sounded good. Then and I realised what the process was. I could then go on and do it on my own. But it was good to have Arthur there in the beginning, because he sort of gave me some good tips.
Cool. So you're making sure that you're also leaving notes and bits and pieces about your life and writing for people to write a song about you as well.
Okay, I've swapped guitars. This is my Peter Stephen guitar, made in Christchurch, Littleton, by Peter Stephen. The other one that I've been playing is a Peter Medill guitar, who's a Dunedin luthier.
Well, do you want to show that back of that guitar again? It looked quite nice.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful...
Want to hold it closer to the camera?
There you go.
Oh, wow. So what kind of wood is that, you know?
I think it's maple. Spruce,
Gives a different tone.
Yeah, that's right.
Alright, so what's...
I'll do a song about Captain Moonlight now. That was his real name. He was from Scotland, George Fairweather Moonlight.
Yep.
And he came out here once again back in the 1800s, and he struck it rich, and then the gold ran out, and various things happened, and he sort of walked off on the track and just disappeared, and was found a few months later. And then that was all in 1884, and then about 5 years later Rudyard Kipling came to New Zealand, and he heard about the story of Captain Moonlight, and he wrote a poem called The Explorer, which I've come across a copy of, which is quite beautiful and long poem. Doesn't sort of mention his name, but it's based on his life basically. So he's Captain Moonlight. And also I was playing around with my little half capo, and I accidentally put it in the wrong place, and I thought that sounds interesting, I could write a song there. Once upon a moonlit night, a lone prospector walked out of sight, along the track, he never came back. Captain Moonlight was his name. Captain Moonlight was his name. Scotland once he came to seek his fortune and his fame. Walked past the herring boats on the cold North Sea, across the oceans he did flee. Captain Moonlight was his name. Captain Moonlight was his name. He was a striking man, there's no dispute. His jet black hair and his blackjack boots, the pocket compass and a rusty pick on the Buller River. He struck it rich. Moonlight, Gully Moonlight, it was named. Moonlight, Gully Moonlight, it was named. Open store and a hotel too, and with those drunkards he knew what to do. First, soon he was the sheriff of a Wild West town, later to be known as Murchison. Sheriff Moonlight, he was named. Sheriff Moonlight, he was named. Now the winter of '84 was harsh. Snow was thick, gold was scarce. Miners couldn't pay their debts. Sold everything for what he could get. His wife got typhoid and she died. George Fairweather Moonlight cried. Fairweather Moonlight was his name. Fairweather Moonlight was his name. So once upon a moonlit night, a lone prospector walked out of sight along the track. Along the track, he never came back. Captain Moonlight was his name. Captain Moonlight was his name. Captain Moonlight was his name. Captain Moonlight was his name.
Yeah.
A few mistakes.
Yeah, that's cool. And so all these songs are on your Unsung Heroes album.
Actually, I should just strip off and do a plug, because I realised that I have
You've
the
got
appropriate T-shirt on.
Yeah, just move a bit closer to the camera so they can sort of see it. Okay.
A t-shirt.
Yep. Unsung Heroes, that's Chris's album cover. And you can get the CD from 1-to-1 Cafe in Ponsonby, and you also get to see Chris. Yep. Okay. And he'll even sign it for you. And I've actually got a copy of the CD myself, and in the album Lily Notes, he's got all the stories written out. So it's one of those CDs that
paper clippings that are all in there.
And the lyrics are in there as well.
No, you got to figure those out.
Oh, you got to figure those out.
I sing clearly though.
Yeah. So you've got a really unique style of playing the guitar, like. You mentioned before it's a half capo and
this one here, yeah.
And you were playing in different tuning before as well.
Yeah, oh no, that's all in basically the half capo puts it into a different tuning, so they're all in standard tuning, and by putting it on you go into dead gate, or I don't think this one's got a name, this particular, but it sort of means that you're playing G shapes on the fourth fret, but then when you go to the C, you get these different, a low one.
Yeah, really interesting.
And then you can still play normal F, but with a couple of different, so it just adds different sort of modal sound to it, I think.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.